Hey guys, Chris here. I want to do a video today talking about enmeshment with pickup artists and why a lot of this pickup artist culture and guys who are into it and more or less obsess over it are very much enmeshed. So this need to want to obviously being bad with women, which results from enmeshment, the boy being enmeshed with his mum, generally leads to a lot of relationship problems, never finding the one, mainly because perhaps their mother is like the one. So in a way, don't want to feel rejection. So some of the points we've mentioned on these videos, the pain of rejection is very painful, more for men who are enmeshed. So they very much want to delicately step around the being enmeshed. So it can result in creating an ego, a particular persona, not showing too much authenticity, becoming this kind of character, so that when you are actually rejected, you're not actually rejected for being you. And all the other stuff, all the warning signs, the sort of the misogyny, all of these kind of things which result in the bottom because of the trauma bond, because of the attachment with the mother. So various guys get into this and want to be more or less the players and the womanizers. And when you go through that phase, why that exists, particularly with enmeshment, is it's very much being very charming very early on, and then very quickly sort of losing interest in the person, not, the guilt of cheating on their mum. So with enmeshment, imagine it's like you're in a relationship, that you don't know with your own mother because of the emotional attachment, because of all of this sort of sexual energy which is being transferred between the two. So what this basically means is whenever you meet someone and it starts to go somewhere, very much you'll feel like, oh, I need to end this. I'm feeling a bit guilty. So you then go back to meeting someone else, and then the charming phase comes in again. So this is not always the case with all womanizers, but it can be, particularly those who are very charming very early on. It can be a massive red flag. Obviously this is stuff for women to look out for, and particularly the lack of interest, the not being able to commit, which again comes down to enmeshment. So this kind of wanting to live this player lifestyle, and having missed out. But the main thing is staying in the mind and figuring out lines or creating a persona rather than just being your authentic self. Because if you are your authentic self, of course you'll learn the hard way, you'll get lots of rejections, you'll get, all of these times, which is better than sort of creating your own ego persona, which eventually won't lead you to doing it. And like because I went through this kind of journey as well, and eventually end up dropping all of that, and then you go back and you feel like how you feel underneath, the low self-esteem, what it's like to really be you, to be rejected to really being you, which you just haven't, don't always fully face. It's very painful because of the rejection, because of the attachment with the mother, for enmeshment. It's very painful to feel rejection, because you're never really rejected because you're still connected. It's like you're still together in a way. Imagine like you're married to someone and you're not actually separated and you've never actually split up. It's very much that kind of bond. So men become a lot more sensitive to rejection. And although they might be rejected from women in school, they don't normally put, or in throughout their lives, they don't normally fully put themselves out there. They might commit too soon as well. They might have a friend and fall head over heels for that person. So this creates a lot of frustration. It kind of brings up the misogyny, which essentially is from this feeling, the suffocation with the mother. So that's why this exists, essentially. So for myself, or to have compassion for guys like this, because that's what's going on underneath, and that's why enmeshment is so important, because if you focus it on the root, you can remove all of this. And unfortunately, no one really wants to learn about it. No one wants to accept it's a thing. They just think, oh yeah, my mum, we're pretty close, but that's about it. And they never want to get to the root cause. And this is not just a therapy thing. This is very much something that's holding you back from being your true independent self. So with the pickup artist thing, which is obviously kind of a dying industry now, but it is very much a mind-based thing. And it obviously is good in a way that it, for example, like with myself, it got me going out there, meeting people, putting myself out there. But the more I was authentic, the more I was myself, yeah, you start to learn more about you and yourself. Whereas if you're in your head a lot and you're creating this persona, you're thinking, finding out what works, and it's like you're playing a computer game and you're in the zone, but you're not actually being you, so you don't really feel the the yeah, what it feels like to be rejected, what people do like about you. You've just created someone else. You kind of feel that who you are is not good enough, so you have to be someone else, this bad boy or whatever, which again is enmeshment, because you've created a false self. The false self is the person you have to be to be liked, that your mother or the person you're enmeshed with likes you. Oh, I can't feel this emotion, I can't share this, I can't. So you've created this persona, and when you're like that in the real world with other women, women probably won't like that, because the relationship you have with your mum is very different to how you would normally have a relationship with other people. So you have to learn about that, the sexual energy, all of these sort of things to tap into. Otherwise it just becomes quite fake. So yeah, that's my video on that, and why I think it exists, particularly in the sort of the PUA pickup artist world, and why that was a thing. And obviously it's kind of a dying out. We're obviously evolving, growing, um, and yeah, that's a particular reason. But the root cause for it was obviously enmeshment, and you obviously see in these other male influencers now, which are very much very similar things with certain views, um, about women, and it's a bit more pick-uppy kind of thing, but it's still a problem. Enmeshment is a problem which is not dying, and needs to be talked about and needs to be worked through, and guys can get through and they can become a lot more confident and attractive to women in their own journey through overcoming enmeshment, and fully stepping into being a man rather than being a boy, rather than sort of just joking around and not being too seriously. And then when it gets to the point where you have to commit and start a relationship, start a family, you are mature enough to do that as an adult. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and speak to you soon.